Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izang Shams, as usual. Great to have you here. They call me Uncle Solomon, so feel free to call me whatever you wish. Awesome to have some of you guys that are here already. Let us know where you're watching from, please. And also make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is Solomon's Temple. Please click on subscribe and then also click on the notification button just so you can be notified anytime I come live. Sometimes I get like breaking news and coming, you're going to know when I'm coming because you're going to get a notification so you don't miss anything. Also, make sure you check all the awesome videos that we've created over the last year. There are great videos there. I'm sure it's going to enrich your lives. Thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you that are here with us. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining us. Great to have you here, Bongani, as usual. Very huge support. Bongani doesn't miss any. Yolisho said, "Oh my God, OMG!" Yes, it's oh my God. That's what this issue is about. You're from the Val Priest. Awesome to have you here. So there is this story that been making the rounds. Actually, it came from the USA, from some relationship coach who is based in the USA. It's a guy called Dr. Shola who brought this to my attention, talking about a couple who were struggling to conceive. Now, obviously, I don't know a lot of people who get married not desiring children, right? Only a few people, not even up to 1% of people you would meet. And believe it or not, there are people that would say, look, let's get married, but we don't want to have kids. I know a couple not far from my house, but I've only met really, really a few of them, right? But then you have those who get married and they have kids. Then you have those who get married and struggle to have kids. Now, when you struggle to have kids, it's always going to be a medical situation, always. Right? Because when sin came in Genesis, it distorted the way God wants. When he said, be fruitful and multiply, it was a commandment. It was a command. It was an ability, an empowerment that came upon each and every one of us, a man and a woman copulating together to reproduce, to have offsprings. But we have met a lot of also couples who are struggling to conceive. They've done everything. They've gone the medical route. They've seek professional help and all that. And those who are Christians, matter of fact, those who are not Christians, they go to witch doctors, they go to babalawos, and they sacrifice to their ancestors. They go to, Nyanga or Sangoma, looking for spiritual alternatives and answers. And those who are Christians go to church for prayer, prophecy, to seek for people who would stand in support with them and agree a prayer of agreement and all that. And they go through the pastor. Now, in this story that I'm about to share with you, this couple struggle. At least for a change, this story wasn't a story that happened in Africa, So the ignorance of the gospel, the ignorance of scriptures is just not restricted to us as Africans. Though we have our own way and we've taken it to another level. Satan is the same in Africa. He's the same in Japan. He's the same in Sweden. He's the same in Switzerland. He's the same in Canada. But we must not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of because we crave for a need. We crave for an answer to a problem. So this couple struggled to conceive. And the pastor, now the leader, invited them and said, look, come to church. In church, at the altar, you can now copulate in the presence of everyone in the church. The husband will go on top of the wife in the church at the altar. And then the church members would lay hands on you just to make the prayer effective and fervent. They will lay hands and stretch their hands over you guys. Whilst you are copulating, prayers will be sent and you shall conceive. I really would love to know the end of this story, if they really conceived or not. But for me, this is one of the most ignorant, out of context activity. So this is when they came and they did the deed. You can see ushers stretching their hands. This definitely looks like it's actually in South America. From the way I see the features of the Caucasians, the people that are there, it looks like South American. So the man is lying down, and the woman on top, girls on top, and they covered a part of them that didn't need to be exposed. And you can see the pastor with the mic, with his hands on the woman's head. And the ushers are close by there, or maybe Mamfundisi, pastor's wife, stretching their hands. What an embarrassment. How do you bring this into the house of God? Conceiving can happen anytime, anywhere. Matter of fact, when we conceived our first son, we actually conceived him in Germany, in Switzerland, about 7 years ago, going to 8 now. 8 years ago, actually. Do you think this is actually something that needs you to come to the altar and do? Whether you think this church or this person is actually the pastor is trying to say or do. What manner of rubbish is this? Is this a sacrifice? Because copulation, intercourse between a man and a woman is a sacrifice unto whoever. As Christians, it's a sacrifice unto God, and God rewards that sacrifice with pleasure and also with a baby, pregnancy. But if you are not of God, if you go to a church that is a cult, this becomes a sort of like a sacrifice. Remember back in the day, in the Old Testament, we used to have temples that actually have prostitutes in it. Temple prostitutes, believe it or not. Prostitutes that operate at the temple. And that was how the Israelites now began to defile themselves and begin to offer sacrifice to Asherah and all these gods. How did the theology of this church get these people here that you can actually agree to go to the pulpit and copulate, and also you in the congregation, you stretching your hands to pray? Ignorance is a crime, huh? We must actually make ignorance a crime, and manipulations a crime, big crime. How did we get here? That's why you would see, and you see some African pastor, a preacher, false prophet, charlatan will see this and pick it up and begin to recreate it here in Africa in another different way. Sadly. But we must use our brain. We must not, God gave us a brain to use. God is okay with us challenging him, challenging instructions from pastors or prophets. When they give us instructions rather to obey. God gave you a brain to think. Common sense seems like not common anymore. Because when you see a picture like this in church, this is definitely South America, because South America also could do some weird things like Africa when it comes to all this stuff. I don't care your level of faith. This is wrong. So wrong. So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, don't be swayed by the theology of churches and prophets and pastors that you feel end biblical. Stand on your truth. Don't do anything just because you are desperate. Because you're desperate, they will just tell you to do anything. Your problems will be solved, or you will receive your blessings, and then you go ahead to do it. Please. We've gone past that route. Brace yourself. Continue to stay faithful until the end, and God will show you his blessings. God bless you, and I will see you again later.